Nature deficit disorder, as experts explain, is a lack of routine contact with nature that may result in stunted academic and developmental growth. In Richard Louv's book called Last Child in the Wood, published in 2005, he used the term nature deficit disorder to show people that today, children are spending more time indoors rather than outdoors, resulting to behavioral problems. Most concern is centered on children. A survey made in California a few years back has proven that 67% of parents said their children spent less time outdoors than the summer before, and 91% of parents blame technology for their children's lack of interest of getting outdoors. Also, studies have shown that children have less freedom to roam outside today than those of previous generations. While 56% of parents today were allowed to walk or bike to school alone when they were 10 years old, only 36% of those parents would allow in many developed countries with advanced technology in the Western world, such as America, Canada, and Britain, have more chances in developing nature deficit disorder. For example, in school during recess, these children would rather stay indoors or stay in one corner without wanting to socialize or play with others. With that being said, children with nature deficit disorder have difficulties focusing in class. According to Richard Louv, in the last 2 generations, more and more children nowadays are becoming increasingly separated from the natural world, with huge problems not only for their physical fitness, but also for their long-term mental and spiritual health. For the last 30 years, children with obesity have doubled for preschoolers and adolescents ages 6 to 11. Because of the fact that children today are less physically active, their health diminishes, leading to a shorter lifespan than previous generations. In fact, approximately 16% of US children, that's about 9 million children, aged 6 to 19 are overweight or obese. Scientists have found that spending significant time outdoors helps build healthier immune systems in children. Furthermore, it lowers levels of behavioral conduct disorders and they feel more active. Children and adults develop increased concentration and memory after spending time in nature. Their attention span was much improved when they moved to houses closer to natural green spaces.
I remember my mother would say, "Come home when the sun comes down." And I wouldn't see a parent until I came home. And we don't live in a time like that anymore.
When I was a kid and just spent a lot of time poking around the mud flats and things like that.
Since the 1970s, kids have spent a decreasing amount of time playing in nature. Educators and parents increasingly are worried about what that means in terms of children's physical and mental development.
More and more people are tending to focus on living, in cities, urban areas. Yes, people venture to the occasional park, but it's not a very frequent experience for many people. Now, I think children, if we're talking about younger kids, parents tend to want to be supervising them. A lot of people work, like double income families, less time to go out overall, and therefore less, if you're going to supervise your child all the time, that means you have to be available to do it, and it's not that easy.
Children certainly have nature deficit disorder. It's an interesting way to put it. As children don't go into nature, they are not part of nature so much or don't see it as something wondrous. They're not connected to nature because their lives are not in nature. They don't think about it, and they're mostly tied to boxes, to their video games, to their laptops, to everything that's electronic.
I taught a course over the weekend, and students had difficulty letting go of their cell phones. They're always wanting to stay in contact with the outside world, not the world that's around them, but a distant world. That doesn't give them the time to unwind, de-stress, appreciate nature, and it also takes them away from the focus of why they're there. But there's an overprotectiveness, that I think parents have to kind of deal with. Like the whole idea is if you let the child explore and let them experience things, then they'll figure out what their limits are. And if you don't let them go outside, not let them climb a tree, well, it becomes a novel experience later on in life that they don't know how to deal with.
It gives children a chance to observe, to think, to ask questions, because nature is really the greatest provider in terms of being a pedagogue. Nature is a pedagogue. Nature was the muse. Nature inspired. Nature gave the ideas from which knowledge sprung. And now, because we close the door to nature, we really limit ourselves to so much.
Nature deficit disorder is the problem that needs to be addressed. The bond between children and nature has broken, and there is a negative impact on children's development and acquisition of knowledge. Therefore, exposure to technologies such as television, video games, and internet should be limited. Children's physical boundaries have shrunk due to stranger danger. Many children are not allowed to roam their neighborhood unless they are with their parents. Children need to explore the unknown and unpredictable places outdoors. Outdoor environment fulfills children's basic needs for freedom, adventure, and risk-taking. By connecting children with the nature and the broader world, they will have the opportunity to have fun. When children are outdoors, they will be happier, healthier, smarter, better problem solver, and more creative. Action parents can take are bring your children outdoors to let them have unstructured time to play every day. Plan monthly outings for the family. Ride a bike or walk to school with your children and others in the neighborhood. Also, you can bring your children to different organizations, including science centers, museums, zoos, aquaparks, and national parks. Environmental education groups help children understand the world around them. Children and society as a whole can benefit significantly by maximizing informal play and learning opportunity that natural outdoor play offer to young children. Together we can heal the separation between children and nature by reestablish a healthy natural balance between technology and natural systems.